Hey, a nice group Tuesday.
Yeah. New faces. So the one fellow, he came in for a training session today.
Oh, good. The one that came in with
Sam.
his mom, or
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hi.
Hey, evening. How you
Who's this one for?
doing?
Yeah,
You
go
if
for
you
it.
want.
That's
Yeah.
yours. It's got your name on it.
It's a great little drum.
You want 2 pillows or what?
I'll take the little
I'll
orange
get you.
edition there.
We got more pillows.
Oh,
We're gonna use that.
thank you.
Got some more coming in. You want it from the back, or you good?
I'm good.
You need some water?
I got water. Thank you.
Okay, so I had 2 clients here today for the therapy journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely me and her. Well, one kid, he wants to get trained. He's going to take it back east with him. College student.
You want your training to do the therapy drumming?
Yeah. It's going to be his thesis, his graduate thesis.
That's cool.
That's great. Is that Sam or
Yeah,
somebody else?
Sam. He's a real bright kid, you know.
Where's he going to school? NYU?
DC, somewhere in DC. That's
In
Georgetown?
DC.
yeah, Washington DC. It's like it's two names, and it's like really famous. You know, I completely got a senior moment. Can't remember. What are some of those powerful Ivy League colleges back there? Two names.
Where is Villanova?
Well, that's in that area. It's like New Jersey, Princeton area.
Yeah, I mean, they're all up and down there, but I know Georgetown,
Georgetown.
DC, but Brown.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
it's not
Two
not
names,
very So yeah, he's
William
struggling.
Mary, William and Mary.
No, that's not it. Maybe it's Philadelphia. It's in Pennsylvania. That's what it was. It's outside of Philadelphia. It's one of those.
Not Penn State.
You'll know all these soon. As soon as your daughter gets ready to
Well, the way things
browse.
are going, she may be going to Santa Monica Community College the first couple
That's a
years.
good.
That's
I did
actually
that.
fine. Yeah,
I
I
that's
did
did that.
I think it's actually preferable. That way you don't have a huge college
Yeah.
loan over your head.
Yeah. No, it's a good place to get started.
Get
And
started.
plus, this academic rating is.
Yeah, and you get rid of all the general education.
Yeah, and it's like James
Lockdown
Dean went
courses.
there. I mean, come on.
Did he really?
Yeah, Arnie
Yeah.
went there, right? Or that's not necessarily an endorsement, but
Who's Arnie?
Schwarzenegger.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah.
What was he studying? Was he in theater? No. Political science. Athletics, of course. You know, as a jock.
I'm not sure what he studied,
Yeah.
but he did go there for 2 years. I believe it was.
Governor for a little longer than that. About that. He came in here once, but he turned around and turned around. He was coming in all the way.
Really?
Yeah, he's such an American. He 6'2". I'm 6'2". He wasn't.
No, he's not.
But all of his, respect. And Arnold, we were drumming on the sidewalk one Christmas. Were you drumming with us that year?
No.
He was governor. Strumming cat. And he came walking down the street. He was governor with Maria and his bodyguard. And he stopped there, and no one looked at him. No one. Everyone was like focused on the drumming. And he's like, hey. And he got it. There's power here, right? And so you got bells for power. So he's like just sort of intrigued. I had my eyes shut. I opened my eyes, and the Terminator was staring at me. And I said, I am not Sarah Connor. Okay? And then there was a cookie drum just on the edge of the sidewalk. And he was standing in front of it. And this like old hippie guy was sort of, in the crowd. And Gallagher used to comedian Gavin with the hair like that. He looked like that. He wasn't Alex.
Didn't have watermelon.
Yeah, he didn't have a watermelon. So Arnold wanted to hit the drum. So I said, come on ahead. So I pointed the car, goes like, hit the drum. Come on ahead. So he steps forward, and this old hippie thought I was talking to him. And he steps in front of Arnold. He didn't realize it was Arnold. Nobody cared it was Arnold. And the Secret Service guy just flipped. And then Ray goes, I don't care. And he turned, yeah. He got like this real shit, just walked up on the street, And we got it on video. Like a friend cat was shooting the video, and he managed to get it. So it was like this one of these great moments. So it's on YouTube.
Hi, Kathy. Oh, oh, thank you.
Good.
They're starting to move on their own.
I'm noticing. I noticed. It sounds really good.
Good.
You have some more?
I got enough.
Maybe tea.
Okay. Tea coming in.
You have heard these prayers to the four corners in a craniosacral class? This guy that teaches like a shamanic kind of teaching on it. And he always does the east, the west, the south, and then the north. So I was just curious about why we're doing east, south, west, north.
Simplicity.
Going around.
What was it called? It was called the Cherokee dance that we learned. And there's like these movements, and you go,
East, west, north, south.
Yeah.
East, up and down.
yeah, the way of the visionary, the way of the teacher, the way of and the way of the warrior. I have to look at it. It's just the one that I'm missing. Visionary teacher, south is, north is warrior.
Anybody need the drummer's phone?
Sure. We'll have a bit of that. Thank you. Who makes this drummer phone?
It's made by a family in Missouri. Missouri.
You could say Missouri.
They say Missouri. And I met her at this festival that they have at every Memorial Day.
Uh-huh.
And this was,
The one that you just went to?
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was there, Bob. She passed suddenly from lung cancer. He has.
Like you mean she didn't know she had lung cancer?
Exactly. Just poof, she just was gone like
Right.
in a week. So the son and Bob,
You know what? That's probably the way to go.
Yeah. I think
because
so.
she was really strong. Like when I met her, my hands were in bad shape, and I'd been touring. That's when I would go out for like 7 weeks and tour all over. So I said, my hands are, is there anybody around here that's got any kind of, they said, go see her, Mrs. Wade. And so she said that the doctors had told her that there was nothing they could do for her arthritis in her knees. And she said, I wasn't going to accept that. She said, I knew these ingredients would work. So she put it together, and it just was a hit. Everybody just loved it. And as soon as I put it on, my hands felt immediately better. And the arnica, but everything else in it was really helpful too. So I bought her out, everything she had.
Really?
And then everywhere I went, I'd give it the pitch. Everybody says, I'll have one. And so they just sold everywhere. So, because every festival I went to, somebody was selling drummer's balm. Their own version. And this was the best. Because everybody wanted me, to endorse,
Right.
So this is the only one that I would endorse, And they could care less, they're out in Missouri, they don't, So I have to, I call them and I said, could you send me a dozen to Florida? They said, sure, And they'd send a dozen here and a dozen to Florida and the Midwest. And I sold to all the nuns, in Michigan and down in Austin and all over. Asheville and Miami and.
So she put this together for her needs.
Yeah, for her needs. And it worked.
I worked on this lady today.
Okay.
Who, the first thing she said to me was that she needed knee replacement surgery. So could I spend more time on her feet and knees because she'd been walking over a daily drive. And so, I don't know. So I talked to her a little bit, and she told me that she's tried everything. She has really bad arthritis in one of her knees, and the other one, the cartilage is just really worn down. So she's decided she's just going to get both of them replaced. And I told her, I said, I think they wear out in 10 years when you get them replaced.
If not sooner.
Yeah.
And also there's stiffness.
Yeah, so she said, well, I'm going to get a second opinion.
You could
But
try
I thought
this.
about this, and I was like, oh.
No, it's definitely, she designed it for her knees because she wasn't even considering a knee replacement, and it's worked for her.
I would never consider a knee replacement.
And I saw her then, several years before she passed, and it was always real positive. And Bob now, he's continued the line, him and the son, and he's had people offer to buy him out, buy his the formula. He won't sell because it's their family.
Good.
And
More people need to do that.
Yeah, he's a real genuine fellow, and I just saw him, this Memorial Day. And
If everybody didn't get bought out,
there would be quality in products
Yeah.
continuously.
yeah, and everybody would be doing okay. I met another lady that didn't sell to LA Gear. She had the Nana stores. Do you remember the Nana stores?
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, she has the Brat store now. And I was in there looking around, and I said, I'm having a deja vu. This store is reminding me of the Nana store. And she said, well, that was my store. And she told me the whole story. And LA Gear wanted to buy her out, and she would have made a lot of money. But she just decided not to do it.
Well, good for her.
That's what I
that
think.
shows some class.
It does, And then I remember telling that story to a bunch of yogis, and this one lady said, yeah, but if she had let them buy her out, she could have bought another store anywhere. She could have, just
Yeah,
kept going.
It wouldn't have been hers.
Right, exactly. I just think it's just too easy. People do it all the time.
I think, when someone creates something and they let it go like that, it's like there's a part of them, that goes somewhere that doesn't feel right to me.
And then it just kind of floats around. It isn't anything really.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when I created Helmtown Drum Therapy Protocols, I knew that eventually, if I did it correctly, it would reach that level of interest, and someone would offer to buy it, me, and the products and the whole thing. And I said, well, if it ever comes to that, you know, I'll consider it then, but right now I'm not really interested. Because initially, the name Helmtown was the dumbest name I could think of.
It's a great name.
And now it's a great name, but when it's like this was 20 years ago, because I was really, I had created a music publishing company called Asylum Music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
Back
was
in
yours?
1969, yeah, that was mine. And my band was called Bethlehem Asylum. And then I'm sitting there
I've
with
heard
Jerry.
of them.
Yeah, we had a few albums. So I'm sitting with Jerry Wexler, Aretha's producer, in his living room in Miami. And we were just
Like
getting
Aretha
started.
Franklin,
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah,
Wexler?
yeah. And my band was just starting, and he was the only guy to show up at the concert. It was a small, you know, theater, Equity Waiver, 99 seats. And we didn't even know who he was. But he'd been told about it. So then he says, "You look like you have a plan. What do you want to do?" And I said, "I'm going to have my own record company." And I said, "It's going to be family. Everybody's going to play together, compose together, tour together, support each other. We'll record on a session. It's all going to be family. Everybody's going to be friends with each other. And that'll be an identity. And I'm going to call it Asylum Records." He goes, "Great name for a record company." And I'd already created Asylum Music, publishing firm on it, but I hadn't trademarked the name. And he moved on it so fast. I talked to Emmett, and Emmett drove it to Captain Head in a week. And when I went to go for it, so I said, "Okay, keep my mouth shut, tell my idea in concrete and protest." So I said, "Okay, I'm going to create another record company, and I'm going to call something really stupid. No one wanted to do this.
to just let the hands move.
It sounds really good. It sounds really good.
Oh, thank you. I almost didn't come tonight.
Oh, I'm glad you came.
Again, it's a weekly ritual. Am I gonna go? I'm gonna go.
Good, you came.
But it's nice to be able to be on time this time.
Yeah, you were.
I looked at this last week. It's ironic how she died, though.
Bugatti.
Scarf.
But
With this being her motto. I
that,
guess no limitations.
just shorter scarves, maybe. But that car, that Bugatti, what an incredibly beautiful car. I mean, the lines on it, just all handmade. It's just irresistible car. It's just gorgeous.
People talk that way about her dancing.
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, so it's like we were in Paris at the.
She got
at the-
lost in
at-
the moment.
Yeah, at the Père Lachaise, the cemetery, and Bugatti, you know, and Isidore Duncan both had wonderful, you know, shrines.
I'm sure.
You know, hers had flowers on it. The Bugatti just, you know, this was gorgeous, you know, a piece of stone, but no flowers. Flash in the back.
She did her shrine, I imagine, would be flowers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What an amazing, what her legacy in terms of dance really changed the world.
Oh, yes.
Really. Now, the woman that went with, that was in Haiti with
Catherine Dunham.
Catherine Dunham, I drew a blank on her name. I wanted to do more research on her.
Well, she has a school
Yeah,
in East St. Louis, Missouri.
wow.
She chose to put it there
Heartland.
because she could help. Well, it's the one. It's I don't know if it still is, but it was at the time the largest ghetto in America. But she turned a lot of lives around. People that were gang members
Yeah,
became teachers in her school.
that's great.
So she would send them to Haiti, and they would get a little of their heritage, you know. Because everybody in Haiti is from Africa. They're from they disseminated the tribes that way.
Well, the book that you gave me, the Music of Cuba and the Caribbean, talked about the different tribes in Africa and how in Haiti and in Cuba, they would bring over fresh shipments of slaves. So that would refresh the drummers that were there. But in the colonies in North America, that didn't happen. They were, the slaves were encouraged to have children as replacements. So the rhythms weren't reinforced from Africa every generation.
Well, it was closer to take them to those places, I would think, right? Maybe.
Same with Brazil. Brazil's very close to Africa.
So,
Maybe
like
not Cuba, but
but you could go to different parts of Cuba, and I'm sure Haiti's like this too, from what I was reading. It's like the different provinces, different areas can relate those rhythms specifically back to African,
absolutely.
their tribal nation.
But when that first started happening, when they started bringing people to Haiti, they weren't there to be slaves. They just took them there. That's what I got from the book.
Oh,
Is that there were people conquering Africa, and what they had to do was they had to take the strongest men, and they had to actually selectively remove the strongest members of tribes.
wow.
That's what it said in that book.
The
Maya Deren's book.
Divine Horseman.
Yes.
Well, Haiti was the only place that had an actual revolution that succeeded, right? So that's not good. I'm gonna get that book.
But the ancestral worship progressed to this,
Yeah,
what they,
the evolution.
because it evolved because they were from all over different parts of Africa. They had different, different
So it was
ancestral forms of ancestral worship.
pantheistic. I mean, they pulled together the different gods.
And then when the Christian missionaries came around and tried to reform them and change them into Catholics, they found parallels with the Christian saints, and
That's like they did
Santeria
century
evolved that way.
to hide. They would pretend to be worshiping.
Well, they found similarities.
Yeah.
And they just,
I know, like Shango became Santa Barbara. Saint
yeah,
Barbara, stuff like that.
yeah.
I've had. A big part of what we do here is our version of seeking that sacred place in the drum. And we're actually facing a greater challenge than a lot of those people, in the sense that we haven't had rhythmic history to go back to,
That's
to
right.
draw from.
Joseph Campbell talked about that.
That's probably where I got the original seed, was the realization. But I saw it at these festivals, where the kids were trying to do rhythmic ceremony and ritual, but they had no idea. So as I said, okay, so that's why these are basic rhythms. That's my lifestyle. I don't have to do anything ritualistic. The basic rhythms are, important as gaining vocabulary for this cultural mix. That, well, I think of one of the 10 sacred rhythms. I see that our sacred rhythms from the European life. I think they can only be the 3 or 4. So, when I watch people leading these groups, like in this festival ceremony, they dance, they go to movement. You see, it's totally natural. sounds so good. And we're getting a good level.
But he told the Arnold Schwarzenegger story.
We should find that video. It's on YouTube, so.
Oh, what about, it wasn't on video. He wouldn't come in the front door. He stopped at the front step.
Well, when we were drumming, I was.
No, but I'm talking about before that.
Yeah.
Before he was governor. He came up to the front door.
Really? So he had been here twice.
I saw him
Yeah.
at Toys R Us once with one of the kids. Then I saw him at, he was buying like ostrich eggs or something for Maria. Like there was some store up here. I was walking by and he came out.
Yeah, Platinos. He would buy stuff at Platinos a lot.
Ostrich
They were
eggs.
like gold plated or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And he just would stop the Hummer out in the street, you know. And just,
Yeah.
Unbelievable, but not very
Not in Santa
unbelievable.
Monica.
See what that sounds like.
Oh, you're changing out drums, huh?
Yeah, just.
We should have hit it before you loaded it up onto the stand to see how the weather treated it.
Oh, that's a
Pretty
nice
good.
one.
That was fresh. That one still has Ghana on it.
Really?
It's only been here, a couple of weeks. He
It
came
still
in.
has Ghana on it?
Yeah,
Is
the
that what you
smell.
said?
Yeah, the smoke
Okay.
and everything.
What do you guys think of the other one with the purple thing? Do you think I
I
should
like
keep that
that
or
one.
that one?
Garnet, you put me on the spot here.
Okay. Sorry.
I thought the purple one.
I like
was
the
a better
purple one. Is
Wait.
that the one you were just playing?
Yeah, yeah.
I like that
That's
one
a nice
lot.
drum.
That's a nice drum.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But this one's really sweet.
I if people ask me to recommend a drum, I will. But other than that, I don't make a call.
You decide.
That's right.
You know, instinct.
Because if you don't like it, then you'll, where's
That's not the problem. Is I like
You
them all.
said-
It's hard to discern. I don't think I've ever
Sounds
seen one that
I don't like.
That
That
did
sounds
Roger
good,
say?
Andrea. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
It says Stevie Wonder record up on it.
Which one?
I bought Fulfillingness First Finale. Do you remember that
Oh,
record?
yeah. That was a decisive record for him in a lot of ways.
I've been listening to it since I figured out how to like download music and like plug my phone into the car,
Okay.
right? I've been listening to it. I've been listening to that for like 2 days. And it's interesting to me how that period in time, like reflected this kind of thing for him. All of this heart-centered, right? And how that there is nothing out there. There is nothing. I have not heard one thing that's recent that is anywhere near that.
It's transcendent. Great love. He had been in an accident previous to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a car accident. He was on tour or something. And so it was a recuperating time. And I think it kind of like, woke him up. And
Because I have a little bit of Stevie Wonder songs. And once in a while, like his birthday was recent, like a month ago, a month and a half ago or something, and I heard something from Songs in Kid Life on the radio.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I loved that music. I just like loved it, Like it was a different,
yeah, he really
it
shined.
was a different time entirely. And so I researched a little bit, and I realized that I had a smattering of stuff. Like I had something from the Secret Life of Plants, and I had something I had like Golden Lady from another one of the Inner Visions, right? And I have I think I have a couple of other things. But I just like looked and I was like, fulfilling this first finale. What is that? Like the title, even the title is so like, where did this come from? You know?
He was in a divine state at that point. You know, it is obvious. You know, he was, you know, incorporating this divine wisdom. People were witnessing that. Yeah. He was.
But
just connected.
see, that was coming through more than just him
Oh,
during
yeah.
that time.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, it was a great time for music.
Hmm.
It was just such an extraordinary time for that. But I recently, like last week, I watched the 2014 induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Cat Stevens was honored, and he performed, and there was like a full-on choir with him, and you know he sang. Baby, baby is a wild world, right?
Train.
And then he said, and then he did Peace Train. He did another song first, but I didn't come in on that. But he taught. I saw another, because you can watch it again, you know. And I've been trying to catch the pieces that I missed, and talked about his identity crisis, spirituality, and how he walked away from fame and money. And he's got this Muslim name, you know, and there he was like singing, and it was this heart-centered music, you know, and it just like what goes right into you. And then Linda Ronstadt, and it was all about, you know, like really singing, like from the gut, from her heart, you know, like it was her with her whole being. And there was this young singer singing her first hit, you know, the different drum song, and I was like, you know, she's got a really good voice, but I'm not hearing the soul. I am not hearing the heart and soul to that song. And then it was like Bonnie Raitt, Emmylou Harris, Stevie Nicks, and then what's her name? Sheryl Crow came in. Sheryl Crow's got a little bit of that soul, you know. And then there's this Carrie Underwood, you know. And Stevie Nicks said, you know, when that different drum song first came out and you just sang it beautifully, Carrie, I said to myself, that's what I want to do. I want to be a singer. I want to do rock and roll. I want to sing. But I don't look that good in those cut-off shorts, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway.
God bless her. She's been a hit.
Stevie Nicks? I was so glad she had said that. You know, is here are these like 50-plus women on stage, you know, there's this young woman, and then there's like this late 30s, early 40s woman, you know, cancer survivor. You know, you could totally tell the difference in what you were hearing, you know. It's like, looks, schmooks.
And, you know, young people talking about the era and the quality of performances. I mean, everybody from Linda Ronstadt to Marvin Gaye, that there was this social imperative that gave them a reason to sing. And you know, we don't have it like
I
that.
think it's coming back.
I hope so.
I think it is. Then there was a Nirvana tribute at the end. So how different was all that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Dave Grohl's an amazing guy. I mean, he's quite a talent to be reckoned with as a director.
Which one?
He was the original drummer for Nirvana.
And he is like Foo Fighters.
Right, he created Foo
yeah,
Fighters.
right, because he was kind of commanding that whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
He's good at that.
yeah.
And then he directed that movie, Sound City, documentary about the recording studio where Stevie Nicks and everybody recorded.
So this makes sense, because he was involved with last year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame production.
Yeah, he played with
that
Paul
too.
McCartney, with Foo Fighters
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
He's just connecting all the generations in a very, very considerate way.
Well, they had Joan Jett. They had all female singers doing his songs. And
I
I
love
thought
Joan
that was
Jett.
an interesting.
Yeah, it was a good fun.
But I just love that because it's all live music and it's all like
You had to play.
celebrating.
You had to be able to play.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what Prince was on about when he did these little concerts here. He said, this is real music. These people are talented, you know. Horn section, backup singers. These people have to know how to play music. So turn off your cell phones.
Right, right.
Was that you telling me or somebody else about Dave Grohl showing up at a preschool with his kid? And they saw his big green hair and they said, like, oh, this isn't they didn't know who he was, you know. He just like strolled on, just walked on, didn't like, you know, go to the house. Somebody told me that story. And I was like,
What, they thought it was like a private school or something?
yeah,
And they were like,
thought he probably, you know, you're
you
in the
know,
wrong place.
yeah.
You
you can't afford this.
Right.
place."
Plus, you know, like when they put on the musical theater, you know, when they put on the talent shows, you know, we need, what can you contribute?
Well, whoever did that, I'm sure is sorry about that now.
Forget who told me that. It might have been Clive.
It
Somebody.
was just like,
I did a
okay.
talent show yesterday over at Park Century Middle School, and the kids, they were like 12 and 14. And the singer, Seal, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
He was there with his kid, and his kid was like, I had to leave, because they used all these drums when they were reciting. And the 4 little boys that played and banged on these drums, they had no, I got hats for all of them. The principal thought the hats were just wonderful. And the parents, you know, and they were just all over the place. You know, I'd worked with them for 4 or 5 sessions. But they were having such a great time. And, you know, someday, and they were so, the little one comes up to me, he says, "Thank you for keeping it real."
Really? How
Yeah,
old was
he's
he?
12.
Oh, my
Little kid,
God.
you know, just really great.
But see, I think the next generation is gonna, you know, this is gonna come back around again. It has to. There's that song on there. He's talking about like, you know, God and like heaven being a 10 zillion miles away, you know, and all his friends were asking him, "Where's your God?" You know, that's like there's this whole journey in the song, and at the end he's like, you know, my God's inside of me, you know, and it's taken him this long because we've got so far to come.
That's right. Yeah, what a
Yeah.
great melody on that.
Yeah.
Part. It's just
Yeah.
his vocal performance. So did you watch Hall & Oates? Did they perform too?
Oh, they were awesome. They were so awesome. What a voice.
Daryl.
Oh my God. You know, he's still got it.
Yeah. So Charlie, the blonde saxophone player, he's my old son.
Great.
He's played in here. What?
Great.
He's great now,
Great now,
but
great.
yeah, he really wailed.
He's played with us in here.
Because, you know, they did She's Gone and, you know, Questlove from The Roots introduced him, and he was great. He was great. And he talked about great music uniting, you know, like races, and because Hall & Oates fan base was mostly black people, you know? And it was like, and I remember thinking they were black. You know, and like when I saw their album cover, I was just like, what? You know? And he said, you know, the great music unites people across all borders. That's what great music does.
Well, they were diagnosed as blue-eyed soul. You know, when they came out, it's not anybody who's like, we're doing it. We have to make this distinction that they're not black. This is blue-eyed soul. But they didn't
Daryl
really have
had
the
the
hits.
blue eyes.
Yeah, till Charlie got with them. They didn't really have the hits till Charlie started playing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they wrote "She's Gone," which that wasn't the Delphonics. Who had a hit with that? Somebody else had a hit with it first. Before they.
Oh, they sold the song to somebody else?
They let somebody else cover it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he worked with Philadelphia.
Yeah, Devil Hook.
No, Rough It.
Did David Ruffin?
Yeah.
Oh, they were very righteous about all the temps and that whole. They brought them out on the road with them because we would go see them whenever they were in town because they would always give us, you know, backstage. And
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because
Charlie was in a band with.
Yeah, Charlie and I grew up together. So,
What's flying around in here?
well, there was an album that had pictures.
Flying
Charlie
around.
knew back when I was here, and
Oh,
Charlie
okay.
was really
I
scared.
thought you were watching a
Well, I was just,
fly
it's up there,
around.
the CD is up there somewhere. I'll show you later.
Anyway, they were great. They were so great.
Their shows
Peter
were on.
Gabriel was great.
Uh-huh.
He was great. And the guy from Coldplay announced him. and sang Washing of the Water. It was such an incredible song. I didn't know that song. You know, I mean, gotta go see some good live music.
That's right. It's tough in this town because he's such a crowd.
Yeah.
Let's go see James Taylor tomorrow night at a bowl. Got invited a ticket. Girlfriend of mine.
Somebody told me that she was going to go do that. A client of mine told me she was going to go to the bowl to see James Taylor.
Nice place. Nice place to see.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
So we saw home. That's it.
I saw James Taylor. Wasn't he at that club? Or who was it? In Hollywood.
Troubadour.
No.
I played the Troubadour.
Stadium?
No. A little club we went to. It was the guy who used to live over here was playing there. The black man with the keyboard player.
Oh, Jeff Young
Yeah.
was playing keyboards with.
But who was there in the club? You know, not sang.
Oh. I haven't seen it in a moment.
Is it James Taylor?
Jeff Young, piano player, played with Peter Gabriel and Sting. He was in the neighborhood. He lived here for a long time. He came here, he played in there.
They honored Kiss. Boy, did those guys look like way unhealthy. Oh my
Well,
God.
you should, considering what they went through.
Yeah, but I thought about, you know, like all that makeup they wore and all of that, probably a whole lot of metal and stuff just going right into their skin. You know,
Plus, this is unhealthy lifestyle.
that, not to mention that.
Well, back then I remember, because I was touring at the same time, everybody's, that, Fraley,
Taste freely.
yeah, he was drinking pre-digested protein. That was a big fad right there.
Yeah.
You get a
Was he
healthy-
the one that was the cat?
Yeah.
He said that he was in remission 7 years from male breast cancer.
Oh.
That's what that did to him.
Yeah, because it was a fad for like less than a
Right.
year and then it just disappeared. But people got sick off it.
Yeah.
But on the road, it was like, you have to get food, protein in you, and they thought that was the way to do it.
All right.
Just rice and beans.
If nothing else, really.
Well,
Yeah, buy a burrito.
just go to the steakhouse. order out.
Yeah.
How much money did you make on this tour?
Well, I tried to be vegetarian on tour, and it was really next to impossible. Back then. 'Cause
I went to Alaska with some artists from New York. At the last minute, somebody couldn't go because their father was dying, and I had just finished my first concert in New York, and it was like looking for somebody to just go at a moment's notice, and I was game, so I went. And I said, my diet's vegetarian-ish, and we got there the first day, and they said, some of you like vegetarian food, but this is where we're going to eat. It was a steakhouse.
Oh,
Thank goodness they always have a salad bar. Right?
yeah.
I just said,
Potato.
I guess I'm having steak.
We were on tour in Canada. I had a gourmet, a small gourmet restaurant. And this guy was a total snob, the chef. Everybody got the steak, and I said, I'm a vegetarian. And he was so happy that he went out and got some vegetables. It was Genghis Collins and it was Jackson
Okay.
Brown.
Oh, okay. There was a J.A. in it.
What are you talking about?
It's where we went to see
Jeff.
Jeff
Oh.
Cameron play, and
He's an
Song and
interesting-
Dance Society was the name of the band. And it was just a thrown together band of a lot of really great session players in town, the backup guys. So Jeff just kept everybody working while they were in town. And so he had this regular gig at the Genghis Collins.
Mhm.
And so people would show up. And Jackson was, he played with Jackson a lot. So Jackson came down to see him. Could you hand me that yellow thing?
Yes, absolutely. I wondered how it got down there.
Knock it off.
You knocked the sock off. But
Knock my sock off. We got some verses on that one. It's not songs of the key of life, but it's something.
Somebody heard that Sophie You Love is the one that did next door. Sophie You Love. they have
They're gonna
next
keep
door.
their place there.
Yeah, I think so.
Surrounded
Oh, really?
with couches.
Yeah. Where do we want to lay down?
Shabby.
Anywhere. In the store.
They're going to redesign the whole front too. All the bricks are going. There's just going to be tall chrome windows,
Oh.
just like the other place.
Oh.
Contractors, that's not going to be so
Kind
homey.
of strange on the, with the roof on this building. But
I walked past a house on Ocean Park that's now, set for demolition. And it's like one of those old, remember when there was like that painting on the house, the
Yeah.
70s chick.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
a
you
story.
drove down like Ocean
Just an
Avenue,
ocean.
and it was famous. It was like
Yeah.
in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. I was like, oh, they're tearing it down. These who's going to build their own house here.
LA had a lot of artwork on walls, you know, back in the 60s and 70s.
You could tell I'm nostalgic, right? I'm really having a hard time.
A lot of it was really good, you know, good art.
There was some really good art. Things all changed in the 80s. They really did.
There's no sympathy in this town for architecture. You know, I remember.
It used to be like a real beach town. It's not really so much that.
Sadly, it's not.
There used to be a great old Hollywood coffee shop in the corner of Gower and Sunset. And it was like, in the old days, it was like, that's where all the film people hung out because they were shooting right there, and the Gower stage was right there.
What was the one that, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it was just, I remember when they took that down.
What was the one Joni Mitchell sang about? It was right over
Oh, that was it. Duh. Yeah.
there. Now it's back in the 60s, 70s.
Is that the parking lot song?
The parking lot?
No, that was about
No,
the
no, that
People's
was-
Park. Oh, right? Was
Yeah.
that?
She
They paved Paradise and they put up a
Put up a
parking lot.
right.
She's over there.
Yeah.
Take a train, put it in the tree museum,
Visited
pay
with
$1.50 just to see.
For
Don't always go to show that you don't know what you got till
six,
it's
about
gone.
2 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, that was amazing. 8 hours she sat right here. She kind of had her back to the door so nobody could see who it was. And I think maybe 1 or 2 people came in.
Just before Christmas.
and
Did
saw
she
that.
play the drums?
No,
We didn't have any of this going there.
no.
She just sat.
And shared in our leftover.
Yeah, yeah. Had some wine. I went over and bought you some more cigarettes.
Yeah.
And she just sat and talked.
So, talk about and stuff.
Yeah. No, she covered a lot of different stuff. She's amazing.
She wrote a great song about a coyote.
Mhm. Yeah.
And all these different men in her life, you
Uh-huh.
know, and like one of them was this coyote. Oh, here comes the coyote again.
You're a mean old. You're a mean old.
That's Carrie.
What's that?
That's Carrie.
Carrie. That's the song Carrie.
Yeah.
Mean old dog. I love you. A lot of great songs.
I could do a good case of you. That's
There's a Laurel Canyon musician thing at the, was it the Grammy Museum or whatever in Hollywood? There's pictures of everybody hanging out in Laurel Canyon with that great pictures of Joni Mitchell playing the dulcimer. Just this incredible parent.
Fun stuff. Where did the butter bomb go? There it is, right next to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what kind of concert did you do when you went to Alaska, before you went to Alaska?
A modern dance concert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was a modern dancer.
No.
Troupe? I never was in like a troupe, like a formed company. Several auditions that I did really well at, I was called back to, but I didn't, I never, I came close with one. And I was walking out and I heard one of the company members say, "How come you didn't want Andrea in the company?"
Oh, that sucks.
Oh.
And then I ran into somebody on the corner from the company, Renee, the Canadian lady. She said, "You know, everybody has to want everyone, you know, like,
Everyone.
you know,
You want.
yeah. BB makes the decision, but she can't make a decision unless everybody wants, that's the way it works.
Wow.
And,
Hard.
yeah.
It's hard.
So I knew who didn't want me, because I knew who was sitting up there, so, it was like that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
it just kind of did me in. I just
Yeah.
didn't have the,
It's politics.
oh, I just did not,
Crossroads.
Where was this?
New York.
New York, yeah.
New York City, man.
Well, you survived that. That's impressive. You deserve a Purple Heart for all that.
Well, I
Right.
sort of survived it,
Right.
I mean, I ended up getting mugged, but there was like all this accumulation of stuff, and then when that happened to me, that happened 6 months before the World Trade Center came down.
Oh.
Happened when?
6 months before the World Trade Center came down.
Oh my God, this recent.
It was, it was rough. It was rough to get mugged and then to have that happen and then to kind
You
of be,
were in New York?
Yeah, I was. So, but, I had a job that was down there. But when I got mugged, I went on disability.
Wow.
So but I worked at night, so I probably would have missed it. But what that did was it removed me from that equation completely.
Well,
Good.
So, I mean, I didn't go back to my job. And they were like, we need to know if you're coming back now. And I said, what's it like? I mean, how do you get into the building? And you had to take a train, and then you got off, and then you got shuttled. And,
Breathe all that stuff.
well, I had a therapist I was seeing at the time, and he was like, do you know what's burning? And I said, I guess I do. And he's like, bodies are burning? And he was like, I don't suggest you go back. But,
plus now there's a spike in cancer.
well, there was a guy who got sick and tired of hearing that, no, everything was okay. He got sick. He was a commodities trader. He was low. He was like on the second floor and got out, and his firm relocated in the area. And he got really, really sick. And because he had the money, he decided that he would get a team of doctors, a really good team of really good doctors together. And they were going to biopsy, since he had an terminal illness that they really couldn't identify. He wanted tissues from all of his vital organs biopsied and analyzed to the extent that they could say exactly what was in his tissue. And there were so many like chemical compound, all stuff that was, you can find in offices, and stuff that puts together offices. So, I mean, he did that some years after, to illustrate just how toxic the air had been. I was living downwind there. I was living in Brooklyn. That cloud, like what? Anyway.
So here we are. So, okay.
So I sort of survived all that.
Yeah.
It took at least 10 years before I actually really started feeling like the person I was before all this.
When did you leave?
In 2004.
So you were there for another 3 years, more or less?
It was the end of 2004. August of 2004 I left.
Okay. This energy that we're generating here, there's proof that this really counteracts a lot of illness.
Well, I know it's I know it does. And I feel better after I've been here for years.
Good. Always love to hear that. We've had wonderful stories. Giving up stories and now the end. So you're singing too, right? You're open mic.
Oh, a little bit.
Nice.
To open up my shoulders
Oh, yeah.
after working. Oh, I had this man today, his back was like, he told me too, he said, it's my neck and it's my shoulders. So I was like, okay, I say, whenever they say that, I say, well, let me just see what's going on there. And it was nothing.